Hey there, YouTube. Well, I'm just woke up and just coming back up from a sugar low, so I hope you don't mind if I'm a little slow. I had two bananas and a caramel and some lentils, and some milk, and uh, I was I'm gonna be blind today. Um, uh, Maybe I have a point, maybe I don't. It's for you to decide. Uh, well, uh, I was watching a video last night. It was about real people who have near-death experiences. Uh, it was made by Christians. I don't really have anything against Christians, but there are some people who really get on my nerves, and no matter what religion or race or anything, I really can't stand people who uh, inflict all of their hatred on other people. People who hold up signs that say this is that fags equal whatever. You've seen it all. You're on the internet. You've seen it. um, well, it's just got me thinking. It's just I've kind of been on a quest. I think we're all on this quest, even though some of us may not know it yet or may not admit it. Is that we're trying to find the real truth. What's the point of all this? Why do we wake up every day? Why do we why do we pursue all these goals in our life? It, I've pretty much been remaining consistent with you know uh, what the universe appears to be and what it actually is. Um, well, it's just I watched a lot of movies, and I still watch a lot of TV, even though it's Asian TV. It's still TV. I just watch a lot of media. I watch a lot of it, and I don't think that I'm a couch potato, but maybe I am. But it's when I hear other people talk about TV, it seems like they're not getting much out of it. It's entertainment. But to me, I always see everything, whether it's on a screen or whether it's a moment in my life. I see it as a chance, as something or someone. I I would say God or Allah or the universe or you know, it's just that one thing that we're all searching for. I every time something happens that really I always try to put it into perspective, whether it's a children's show or whether it's something that happens in my life or whether it's an adult show or like so-called mature audiences, even though I think that actually some of those mature audience programs are actually less mature than rated G Disney films. uh, it's like just watch Finding Nemo. I mean, that's about even though it's rated G, I'd have to say that's one of the most mature films I've ever seen. But it's really hard to explain because every time I explain it, I can't really get the words out right. I don't know if you can call it schizophrenia or anything like that, but every time I watch a movie or something, I try to make it personal. I try to see all the characters as different aspects of the universe and different aspects of myself and different aspects of people that remind me. And I always believe that people are actually individual people, but that when you see them, you're actually seeing part of yourself. And whenever I see a movie, I see the main character as my internal struggle and my internal being, and that everything around them is also the universe, but also maybe the universe is actually us. It's actually inside of us, and it's just I always take every single moment. I try to attach meaning to it. I don't know if this is just human nature or if this is just me, but I've always, maybe I was put here in this life to be the eye, to be the viewer. Because every time I try to keep it personal, but I try to keep a completely open mind. And now, when we say open mind, what do we really mean? A lot of us think that open minded means, oh, we have to accept, diversity, and we have, that's actually really closed minded, because when you say open mind, that means that it's completely open. Your glass is empty. Uh, you know, and it's just how do we really put this into perspective? You know, uh, it's just whenever. What is it? Oh, there it is. It's like whenever. What was I talking about? Okay, I was talking about. Okay, I see every single character. And when we keep an open mind. Okay, um, really, what does that mean? When you keep an open mind, it means that your glass is completely empty. Now, if your glass is truly empty, it means that you are completely in the moment, although it's impossible to be completely in the moment because at all times we're recollecting every single thing that's happened in our life. So while we can say that our glass is empty, we can't truly be empty without being dead. So, you know, um, assuming we're normal people who have normal experiences, everybody, remembers stuff, unless, um, some people have severe memory loss, but I still think that there's a lot of stuff that stays. So, we keep that part, but what I'm trying to explain is that a lot of us, if you look especially on comments on YouTube, something really innocent can turn into something completely out of hand in the comment section. It's like you'll see a small short clip, and then people will start talking about religion, people will start talking about whatever, and it's just like, you know, it's it's irrelevant, but it's also relevant because it means that that image and audio segment set off that discussion. And it's really good that people are discussing, but also that it's not good that people just blindly blindly but people just blindly just push their ideas on people without even thinking about they just want. I mean, I may be um guilty of this, is I just talk, and people accuse me of just talking and not listening, but I always listen even when I'm talking. I don't know if it's anything special, but it's just who I am. I always listen, and I more than listen, I remember. I really do remember. I make an effort. I mean, it's not anything special. I think it's just I care. Except then I think that I don't care. It's really weird. I feel like. I don't care, but then in reality, people say that I'm actually very caring and that I'm very compassionate, but I don't feel that way. I feel like I could do more. I feel like I'm not listening enough. I feel like I never feel satisfied. I never feel like I'm, you know, who I'm really supposed to be. I think that's what we're all trying to figure out is we're all trying to figure out who we're meant to be, as spiritual beings. I'm not really religious. Actually, just like Jesus says, the only true religion, you know what that is. If, but if you don't know what that is, you can Google it. Um, just there's only one true religion, and it's not in a church. It's in your heart. Is basically what it comes down to. Is that it's in your heart. It's love. And whether you're atheist or Buddhist, or which are atheists really, or Christian or Hindu or anything, or Muslim, it all boils down to love, really, because without love there's hatred and or nothingness. And with love is it's a very good feeling. It's warm. And if anybody who doesn't want love, you know, that, there's a lot of people out there who really don't know love. And I think that's really sad. It's like Harry Potter said to Voldemort, it's like, he said, because I'm able to love and you aren't, and I feel sorry for you in the fifth one. But, it's just, you know, it's like those two sides. There's the side of love, and then there's the side of nothingness and hatred. It's just which side would you choose? I mean, it's pretty obvious that you would choose the one that's good and the one that's warm and comfortable and the one that makes you happy. I mean, really, that's what it all boils down to, no matter what religious belief you believe in. And people are just blinded by what they're told, and that's what I believe that needs to stop. It's every single day people are dying because of it. Every single day, you can see it on YouTube. People are just making really just stupid comments about their stupid beliefs. They say like, "Oh, like God said that faggots are gonna die" or something, and then, like this, most of us just either ignore it or we add flame we add, we fuel it just because we don't know what to do. um, but I think this needs to change. We need to find something that'll end this, because what's happening on YouTube is actually what's happening over in all the places where there's wars. And until we can stop it right here at home, it'll never stop over there. And because once an idea spreads, especially with something like the internet, which we're not quite sure what the internet actually is, by the way. um, it could just be a bunch of wires. It could just be a bunch of data being transferred. It could be something more. But, we don't know what it is yet. But, it spreads once a good idea, once change happens, it'll spread. And it doesn't start with, you should do this and you shouldn't do this. It doesn't start with that. It starts with love. Pure, glowing, warm love. That's really what it all comes down to. And if, you know, just ask yourself, what can I do? That's really what it all comes down to. I mean, that's the answer. I mean, if you've been looking for an answer, that's the answer. It's love. I mean, there's really no other answer. Now, once you get to specifics, it's like, as long as you have love in your heart, you can't go wrong. But if you're putting all, I saw a silly commercial once that showed a guy doing those crazy dancing things with the ads, and he was in the middle of like the desert, it's like nobody driving around. So you have to target your love, strategically. You can't, if you're sending all your love to people who won't listen, or who won't, who, it's really complicated. There's no one way. There's no answer really. It's just you find it. You take life as it comes. Everyone always says, like, this is the way you should live life. This is the way you should do things. It doesn't really work that way. It works with, we're all individual people with our own individual, we've all experienced things differently, so we see things differently, but we all have to live together. It's, what are we supposed to do? It's just, I'm just curious why people can be so angry. I mean, like, why, how, how can you not accept someone being able to marry someone they love? I just don't understand it. And, you know, I just don't understand how people can actually be so adamant about it that they go out in the streets and preach about it. I just don't understand how, I feel very sorry for these people, really, because they're so trapped in that way of thinking. Maybe I'm trapped in a way of thinking too. I don't know. But, they're so trapped in this that, they really do believe that that gay people are evil. They really believe this. And, most of us, we hear about this in the news and we see it and we just say like, "Oh, that's wrong. They're stupid. They're wrong." They don't know what they are doing, is what Jesus would say. And, I saw some silly cartoon and they made fun of Jesus and God and whatever, and it was kind of silly. It was like South Park, but, in reality, we always ask ourselves, what would Jesus do? It's, do we really know Jesus? I mean, we think we do. We read the Bible or we read the Quran, and when we say Jesus, do we mean Jesus the prophet, or do we mean Jesus, the actual Jesus? Like, Jesus. Like, it's just a common word that everybody sees differently. Okay? And people think different things because they have different backgrounds and because they see something different. So, I mean, really, what if I'm the only person who actually sees my world as people who are people? What does that even mean? Like, a person who has, I mean, what is a person? I mean, we all have to agree on what words mean. It's crazy. How can I can't imagine ever being able to see anything from someone else's eyes, because if I mean, okay, let's say I had this machine that took my body out and I could put it into someone else's body and I could see everything they see. I would still see everything from Alex. I would not see it from this person. I would, I mean, they see everything differently. They I would see Alex's point of view from that body. I would not see it from their point of view, from their body, because we're all we're all, pure energy, and we're inhabiting this body. And we don't know what happens when we die. But we have a lot of beliefs because we want something to hold on to, because we want to believe that something happens. And whether it's true or not doesn't matter. It really doesn't matter. Because what matters is love. And what matters is, there is no right or wrong. There, what you believe is up to you. Whether you think that you're going to go, just rot in the ground and you're not going to exist, which I don't think is possible. I mean, I can't imagine not existing. It's just, it blows my mind. I mean, if you're not existing, how would you know you don't exist? How would you know that you existed at one point? So when you're this pure energy inhabiting a physical body on our planet, on our spectrum, you know, and then you lose this body, where does all this energy go? Where does it go? We already know matter is neither created nor destroyed. Where does it go? And it, no matter where it goes, it's going somewhere. So, whether it's just, your energy goes and dissipates and, goes back into the universe, you're still part of something. You're still going to exist. Because if you don't exist, then, how would you have, how can you exist in the first place if at some point you will stop existing? Because if you stop existing, then that would mean that everything from before was not happening. I, it really blows my mind, and it's just, we all just kind of see things differently, is what I was originally saying, and we see, okay, let's say we see a video and a guy comes out from the left and he just says something, and then someone comes out from the right and says something else, and then at the end of the video it's implied that people who are against abortion, or who are against a woman's choice, are evil and are wrong. Okay, so they planned this. They wanted people to jump to that conclusion. That's what film is. It's premeditated. It's planned. People want you to think something. Now, that being said, how do we empty our cup? Now, emptying our cup doesn't necessarily mean being neutral. It doesn't necessarily mean seeing it without thought. Emptying our cup simply means we see it with a chance, with the intention of learning something that we didn't understand before. Seeing something from a different light. And let's take that video for example. Now, a lot of us are really kind of really hard pressed to imagine something that has no description. But just try to imagine a video. It's going to mean something different to everyone who sees this. It's going to, a video. you know, it could have been a video you just saw before this one. It could have been a video that you have in mind. I don't know. But think of the video that is the most controversial in your mind. Now, try to think of it this way. You could choose three sides, really. There's the don't care side. There's the and then there's the care for one way, and then there's the care for the other side. But are those really the only options? I mean, really, does it all boil down to the don't care or the pick one side, or how can we how can we see things differently? I think this is what we need to be focusing all of our attention to, is seeing things differently than what they were before. And a lot of us, we say that, but then in practice, we're really just doing exactly what we've been doing for thousands of years. And, I think it's time for something new. And, even what I'm saying right now, this is old. This is something that's been around forever. People have been saying, especially, hippies and, stoners and all that. They've been like, man, we just need love. We just need love. Like, it's nothing new. What are we supposed to do? Like, we can't just, we can't just exit our bodies. We don't know how. we can't just change our ways. We only know what we know, and it's just, how do we go about doing something that we've never done before? And I really think that this is the way into the future. And I don't know what makes me so special, but I do believe that I was given a gift of seeing things for not what they seem to be, but what they actually are. And my whole life I've been ridiculed and saying that, like, oh, you don't get it, you're not seeing it, you need to read more about it, and I did. I did. I read way more than you. I mean, literally. I mean, these people, they think that I'm just, just spouting stuff, but no, I really am reading and seeing, and I I'm not really I'm not calling it as I see it. I'm calling it as it is. And people don't people don't understand that. They think that I'm, that they accuse me of not understanding the issue. What really is the issue? Is it the actual issue, or is it the issue that everybody wants you to think it is? People like say, like, oh yeah, the Republicans are stupid, and all these people who claim to be, for, freedom and all that, they are doing exactly what the other side is doing, what they say is so evil, and nobody wins. It's what the people who I believe are the most pure are mothers who, instead of spouting all their ideas, they just love their child. Pure love. And it's just, if everyone was like the good mother, then there would be no problems, really. But, it's just, you can't make somebody do something. You can't tell someone that this way is right and what you're doing is wrong. Because in their mind, what they're doing is right and what you're doing is wrong. Okay, and going about it with hatred and with you know, okay, really, I have a huge problem with a lot of the people on the internet who are atheists because I'm friends with them on I like all their Facebook pages and I see it on the status feed. There's always some random picture with some ridiculous statement, and then it says like, oh, like your fantasy god that you believe in and is wrong and I'm right, and you're all stupid because religious people are stupid. And yeah, I mean, I won't argue a lot of religious people are just really just out there. But are these people any better? They're doing exactly what they're saying shouldn't happen. They're indoctrinating people the same way that the religious people, they're a religion. Atheism is pretty much a religion now. And it's just, where do you get all this energy? I mean, couldn't this energy be going into healing yourself and healing those around you? I mean, you can focus if you can really focus all this energy on trying to get people to think that people are stupid. Why can't you get this energy to fix the actual problem rather than trying to change people's ideas? See, I think that, if a tire is flat, you change the tire or you fix the flat. You don't go around saying how your car is, okay, they say that the Titanic was unsinkable. You know, they would always claim that it was so unsinkable, and then when it sank, they were like, "Oh, shit." It's what how, I really have a problem with trying to put my ideas into words. I I don't know how to get across what I actually mean without people jumping to conclusions. Because people are going to jump to conclusions, even though it's nothing that I said. And knowing this, it's up to me to say things that will lead you to get to the idea that I originally meant without me actually saying the original idea. So, in effect, is what really is important. If what you say, even if it doesn't achieve what it says, if it in effect achieves what you wanted it to, then I think that you communicated effectively. Say you want someone to get you an ice cream cone, and there's a couple ways you can go about doing this. You can go, "Can I please have an ice cream cone?" And then most likely they're going to say, "No, I can't afford it." And then it'll be like, "Darn it." Or if you could say or do something that would trigger them to get you the ice cream cone, then in effect, you were successful. Now, some people do this to the extreme and they do very evil things. But some people also do this to the other extreme. They do very wonderful things. I believe there are very wonderful people out there who don't even say all the, all the all the words that most people say to achieve what they actually are supposed to. People say hours on end about, like these are the facts, and these are all the things that are wrong with the world, and blah 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 blah. And you're wrong and I'm right is basically what it all comes down to. And nobody listens. Everyone either just gets angry or they don't care or they agree, and then they just rabble on together. And then it just gets louder and louder and louder. And the internet is a very loud place, and it's very annoying. And I want it to stop. I want everyone to just stop. There's just a lot of chatter, and it's not accomplishing anything. There's just people talking about their religious beliefs or people talking about their anti-religious beliefs, and it's just a lot of blah 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 blah, and nothing is happening. You see, I think what we really need to do, a lot of the people who actually have done the most are the people who've been making TV shows and who've been making comics, I'm really kind of addicted to Japanese comics, but that's just me. But these people inspire people. These people, without even saying these they don't say the more specific you get, the more chance of failure you'll get, because people will jump to conclusions and people will rattle on, like I said earlier. But if you say something that will touch people's heart, that'll inspire them, then they may be able to do something that will inspire the change that they believe in. And most people in the arts, people who make these comics, in Japan, mangaka are actually called sensei, which usually call teachers and doctors. I just want you to wrap your mind around that if you're not familiar with Japanese culture. Is that comic book artists are viewed the same as doctors and teachers. I want you to wrap your mind around this. Even though I said earlier that saying what you want is ineffective, I'm still going to say it because I don't know what else to say. I'm not very good with words. And it's just, these people, no matter what their intention is, they inspire people to do what their intention is, for better or for worse. And, you got to take the good with the bad. There's always going to be bad people. You can't change them. They're going to be around. There's no avoiding it. Now, what do we do as people who want to spread love and joy? We are supposed to defend ourselves against those people. We're supposed to armor ourselves, so that no matter what these bad people do, it won't affect us. And no matter, and I really believe that the reason I'm learning, Japanese and Mandarin Chinese and Korean now. I've been listening to Korean the past couple nights. I'm still a complete baby in Korean, and I'm kind of still a baby in Chinese, and I still consider myself a child in Japanese. And I actually still consider myself a child in English. But, it's just, you have to get to a point where you just accept that and just, move on and just continue. So, no matter what other people say, people will say, "Oh no, you speak English fine, or you speak Japanese fine, blah 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 blah." But either way, that's them. That's not you. You are in charge of how you feel. You are in charge of how you see the world. You are in charge of what you say and what you do. You are in charge, not those people, not the religion, not the government, not them. It's all you. And when I say that, I mean I'm talking to myself. Because just because we're all born with our own, I call it the big D. And I say big D because for me it's diabetes. and I didn't know until 2008, so it was 4 years ago. So most of my life, I probably started, I started feeling like crap when I was 13. I It's pretty much the reason why I never went to school. I missed like 40 days a year out of the 196 days or something. I missed 40 days a year. That's why I dropped out of high school. And when I did go to school, I would sleep during class because I had no energy. And I would, I ate a lot and I wouldn't gain any weight. I would just eat and eat and eat. And my friends were pissed. My family was pissed. They would be like, why are you eating all my, you're just like Homer Simpson. You're just, rah, 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 rah. And I'd be like, I eat because I need to eat. And I found out later it was because I wasn't getting all the nutrition from it. I was pretty much just going into my mouth and exiting. I was pretty much getting no nutrition. And it's kind of scary, but it was reality. And, my mom refused when I was 13 and started feeling this way and wouldn't get up to go to school. She would bang on the door all day and stuff like that. But, I love my mom. She really meant well. She was just being a mom. She didn't know. I didn't know. So if I didn't know, how was she supposed to know? So I don't blame her. She was being a mom. That's what moms do. But still, the fact is that I asked to go to the doctor several times. Every single day I said, there's something seriously wrong with me. That's all I knew. Because I saw other kids, they were able to play sports. They were able to do all this stuff. They even hung out after school. I would go straight home and sit on the couch because I was tired from sitting down in school. I knew all the material. I had no problem learning. I I would read something and instantly understand it. I don't know. It doesn't make me smart. It's just one of my gifts, I guess. We all have our gifts and our weaknesses, and I guess my weakness is in my body and some other areas. I am really hard pressed when I try to stay on topic. If you can't tell by watching my videos, I cannot stay on topic. I always go all over the place. But, do we really have to stay on topic? uh, the way my mind works anyway is that it just grabs hold of the next thing. It goes to the next thing. It goes to the next thing. And then it goes back to something else, but in a different light. Like it's always something new. And I think that's actually how our universe works, is it's not revisiting the past. If something repeats itself, it's a new form of it. It's something that's happened, but in a new, like, okay, picture a straight line. That's our universe. There's no going back. You can't see in the video. You can see my hand going behind my head, but to me, there is nothing behind here. Now, what do I mean by this? This is really kind of bizarre. We can see everything ahead of us, and then we turn around and we see everything we say behind us. But really, we're turning our head and it's still forward. And so, what's behind? What's behind our head? And if we take a video of it, we'll see stuff. But that's still forward because when you see the video, your eyes are seeing a screen which is in front of you. Alright? And so, behind you, we will never know. Because no matter how hard we try, we're always forward. And I think that's one of the things we have to accept. No matter how, maybe in effect, we will find something different. Like I said earlier, with the effect thing. But I think the harder we try to prove things wrong, the further we get away from it. that's not always true because sometimes we get really close by doing that. So knowing that as long as we live our lives in love, honesty, and joy, and spreading that love, joy, and honesty around us to others, then no matter what we aim to do in this life, whatever we believe we were sent here to do, we will accomplish as much as we can if we remain that state of joy and love. Because if you deteriorate from that, you're in effect becoming less efficient. If you have an agenda, if you want to ban gay marriage or whatever, or if you want to ban people from banning gay marriage, whatever it is, if you try, if you're doing something for the sake of love, you will achieve. And you still may achieve if you do it with an agenda. But in effect, you feel it here. And I think when we think of heaven and hell, that's what it really all boils down to. Because if we make $1 million and we achieved it doing good for people and we achieved it with love, it is much, much more felt here and enjoyed by your presence. You feel the goodness. It's not the money. But the money helps because it helps you improve. Because your ultimate goal is to align yourself to love and honesty